The new Angry Birds show, Angry Birds Summer Madness, dropped on Netflix a few weeks ago, and it's kind of like as a show on its own, it's not bad, but it doesn't really have a reason to be an Angry Birds show. So the show is about Red, who is the main character, and the leader of the group. Chuck, who is a fast guy who often gets himself into trouble and gets hurt. Bomb, who is the nicest and sweetest member of their group. And Stella, who is kind of like Girl Red, which is fitting as in this canon, those two have been best friends since they were kindergarten. The show depicts the birds as preteens in a summer camp called Camp Splinterwood. Other characters appear, such as Matilda, who babysits hatchlings in this show. I like this dynamic, as Matilda was originally seen as a mother figure to the Blues, so it's nice to see that referred to here. Although I hate the fact that she isn't egg-shaped, this is her only design that isn't. Bomb also has a crush on her in this series. The hatchlings are full Blues. I really don't see why they didn't just remove one and call them the Blues, and I think that would have made much more sense to me, but they didn't, so. There's also Terrence, who barely appears in this show, which is kind of sad. And there's also Mighty Eagle, who is the camp counselor. I don't like Mighty Eagle in this show. His design is bad and his personality isn't very good. It's a shame to see Hal and Bubbles on here. They're not even in the background. You know, they deserve to be here in some form because they're iconic Angry Birds characters and they're really cool, so they should be here, but they're not. There are also new characters that are introduced in this show. There's Needlefly, who is the typical bully character and Red's rival. Robin, who is Needlefly's sister and is basically a girl version of him. She is Stella's rival, and honestly, this character is really unneeded, as Stella hates Needleflyer in this, and Needleflyer hates Stella, so in all her scenes, they could have just used Needleflyer instead of Robin. Also, a better idea for Robin would have instead made her be Gale from Angry Birds Stella, which would have been cool fan service, and would be nice to see the character again, because we haven't seen her in years. Robin and Needleflyer only appear in one scene together, and that scene isn't really important and only lasts for a couple seconds, so it makes sense why Robin could have just been cut out completely. It also doesn't really matter in any episodes that they're brother and sister, so that dynamic could have been cut and, again, like I said, made her just be Gale. There's also Lynnette, who is the camp leader, and her husband Harold. Honestly, Lynnette is a bit of a bitch, and I don't like her very much. I mean, you're not supposed to, but yes, but still. She is mean to her husband Harold, and she threatened to divorce and fire him because he was going to beat her in a Dodgebird game. That's so dumb. The show has 16 episodes. Some of them are pretty okay, others are terrible. Honestly, I hated episode 3. The one where Bomb's voice hurts, and it sounds like Lynnette, so Red and Stella come up with a plan to get Chuck to distract her, while the other 3 sneak into her office and get Bomb to say stuff over the mic to make the camp how they want. This episode has many problems with it. 1. Red and Stella don't get to do the stuff they want, as they just stay in the office, so it's kind of a useless plan. 2. Bomb in this episode is really annoying. And 3. This is the worst problem. Red gets angry at Stella, then feels immediately bad about this, and Bomb and Stella call him out on this. What did he do that was so bad? Said, "You're ruining it," to Stella. Didn't even shout it. He tries to find Lynnette and tell her about what happened to them and just snitch on them. Why? He doesn't have any reason to do this. This is so dumb. Why do they get angry over an angry bird getting angry, but he wasn't even angry? I'm getting more angrier over this, and I'm... Episode 8 is probably the one I like the most, though. It's the one that introduced the character of Penley, who's a pig. And I think it's nice to see a pig in the bird camp, as it's pretty cool. And plus he likes to build stuff, and he can build stuff really well, which is obviously a nice reference to the games, because obviously the pigs like to build. I really like Penley, but my one problem with him is that they could have made him Ross, which would have been a nice reference. The weirdest episode was definitely episode 11. Red, Chuck, Bomb, and Stella want to go to Splashageddon, which is some kind of water-themed event that happens every year in Camp Splinterwood. They get really excited until Lynnette sees that Red, Chuck, and Bomb's cabin isn't clean, so makes them, along with Stella, stay to clean it up. Side note, I'd like to know who Stella shares a cabin with, as those 3 are the only characters we see her hanging out with, so I'd like to know why she doesn't hang out with her roommate. But anyway, Red comes up with a plan to get them to Splashageddon. He says they should dig a hole. Chuck and Bomb blindly agree with him and everything he says because Red always comes through in the end. Stella hates the plan but goes along anyway. They then dig a hole and find themselves at the bottom of the earth with lava, and Stella almost dies until she surfs the lava. They then run into an old French version of Red called Rouge. 40 years ago, he and his friends Buck, Flom, and Ella attended Camp Splinterwood and were in a similar situation to Red and the others, where they dug a hole to get to Splashageddon and got lost. Buck, Flom, and Ella are dead. Well, I wasn't expecting it to go this direction. It's kind of dumb, but at the same time kind of amazing. He gets to go to Splashageddon in the end, so it all works out. There was also episode 13, The Golden Pineapple. The first time I saw this, I immediately thought this was a reference to Angry Birds Rio, because in the Smuggler's Den episode in Angry Birds Rio, there's a bunch of hidden golden pineapples that you have to find. And in Summer Madness episode, Mighty Eagle has to hide a golden pineapple around the camp. Whatever group finds the pineapple wins. That sounds like a reference to me, and it may have been accidental, but I hope it wasn't, though it probably was. I also like the fact that Chuck, Bomb, and Penley's team didn't really care about the hunt as much as Red's team and Stella's team did. Though obviously the episode was about Red and Stella's rivalry, but that doesn't matter. I just thought it was kind of funny. So what are my overall thoughts on this show? Well, honestly, the show is kind of okay, but it's a pretty bad Angry Birds show. The pig camp only appears twice, and its scenes are very short. So there's very, very, very little bird versus pigs action here, which in my opinion should be a focal point in most Angry Birds shows. It shouldn't happen in every episode, but it should happen quite regularly. I know my favorite Angry Birds show, Piggy Tales, doesn't even have birds in it, but there's a difference between this and that. Piggy Tales episodes are 1 minute long, and they're really, really simple episodes of the pigs just doing some stupid thing. Whereas Angry Birds Summer Madness episodes are 11 minutes long and have the characters speak and have proper plots in them. So they really could have worked around this and had the pigs be a main part, and had the pigs be rivals and stuff. They really should have done that. Something I also don't like about the show is that it's kind of unoriginal, because it's just a summer camp setting, making popular characters children and then just putting them in a summer camp. You know, like SpongeBob did that with Camp Coral, for example. It's a pretty unoriginal idea. Though this is better than what I've seen of Camp Coral. I haven't seen a proper episode of it, but I can guarantee that this is probably better than it. It's just painfully mediocre, that's how I describe it. Like the video if you liked the video, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this and on other topics too. Goodbye.